Hi, this is David Burns, final presentation for ASU ARC502. Tasked to design a education learning center. So my site is located in the greater LA area, southwest of LA. Some of the climate notes are Mediterranean climate, kind of mild, hot summers, cooler winters. So in our design, we had to accommodate more of the cooling aspect of the site than the heating. Heating is not much of a factor, so cooling was a big task to undertake. So lower left, you can see the kind of the site, the half mile radius walking distance, what's around there. Again, here upper right is LA, and then the site is a little bit southwest of that. As we zoom in, you can see the neighborhood. It's kind of it's got some density, but most of the buildings surrounding are only 2 stories. We have some housing to the north, commercial district across the street from the site, and then there's a big auditorium theater directly to the south of it, and there's some parks and other green spaces further south. So here's kind of one of the concepts I was working on. So I was tasked to do 3 concepts. Here you can see the site. There's the taller building here. Most of these are 2.5 stories. So it's kind of low in height in the surrounding area. Site plan. And this concept was 3 buildings where you could walk through the buildings to get to either of the buildings. So street front here, street here. So access to all these buildings would be off the street. You can see some of the this is kind of a party I did of sketching one piece here lower on the ground level, and then some stacking buildings on top of that parquet. Here you can see 3 buildings on the ground, how they kind of fit in the site. Some more further studies, 3 building concept on the ground, and then some stacked floors above it. So you kind of, if you look at this this plan, here's the stacked buildings on the ground here, walkways through that concept. Next concept was a 4 building on the ground floor. So building here, building here, building here, building here, with a walkway kind of connecting to it, which is the smaller spaces. Here's kind of some sketches of the floor plan, unit here, unit there, ground floor, and then some stacking of the buildings, kind of higher in the 2 centers and lower on the bottom. Third, sorry, my screen. So third party is the kind of more of a flat, a low slung spread out over the property, kind of again 3 buildings put together where we have kind of a big main floor. Then I'll go upstairs. So a big main floor, 2 big main floors with another higher piece on the 2 ends of this one. So I talked to Michael about what we discussed as probably the best layout would be the 4 buildings with the connector piece in between. So here's kind of the general layout of the plan to start with. I kind of broke it up into 4 pieces on the bottom. Kind of this one is a cafeteria. This one is kind of a common area. This one is where everyone comes to enter the school administration, and this was the gym. And then upstairs, kind of using this long corridor with learning centers on either side of the corridor, but allowing some high windows and some cross ventilations where these are open pod spaces. And then just going up a little higher. So third floor, these are kind of the floor plans, floor plates, street level, second level, third level, and then the fourth level, some lower roofs on either side. Kind of the site plan. Again, we're looking at Main Street here, sidewalk, kind of entryway, and entryway. And I'll get into the further development and then kind of parking in the back. Okay. So again, we can see more of a site plan here, where we've got the kind of the four buildings on the bottom, same concept. They've switched a little bit, and I'll get into that in a moment. But again, everybody's loading off this main street, off the sidewalks, into three different entrances. So here, you can kind of see the street level plan. And what I did was I kind of broke it up into two more public spaces out here, which is the multi-purpose area, cafeteria for students here, and then the administrative entry to the school here. And then this is kind of the home gym here, or auditorium, gymnasium. So this is the main entrance here, public entrance here, and a public entrance at that location. Upper floor, excuse me. What I tried to do here in the concept was do some learning centers. So this is kind of higher education building, site's compact. I wanted to do higher education because older kids could use the elevator and the stairs, elementary kids. I didn't want them going up and downstairs so tight. So I went vertical. So the concept was to have some classrooms here, private classrooms, and then surrounded by an open learning concept area. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those pods. So we could have 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th grade on this, and every grade has a little learning center that they can use. Going up to the next. So again, going upstairs with this, this one has the long corridor, but I was able to, again, we got the pod, and pod as a concept. Because it's a narrow site, I was able to get some cross ventilation by having these open pods in the back and kind of the learning areas up front, so we could get some westerly views coming through. Next. So next concept, kind of a roof plan. So we have some low roofs here, some green spaces out here, higher roofs, solar panels, excuse me, heating and cooling. And then again, low roofs, green spaces over there. So kind of the elevation, broken up into the kind of the wings, stair towers on the sides, and then central entrance corridor here, front street elevation. Kind of trying to obviously mirror the architecture over the center. kind of some building sections on the concept. So again, the concept was, and I'll get into this further, to have cross breeze for that, and some general kind of structural plan. Bearing walls, everything stacks pretty much, so we could do a stem wall foundation footing, use the bearing walls, open grid, I'm sorry, steel web joists, concrete pan. Here's kind of how the structural floor is laid out, floor plates. So this is kind of the concept of um, the window wall, rain screen concept. And in this particular case, I'm trying to shade the west facade with more of horizontal shading above the windows. So I have steel beam and then some members above it to provide the horizontal sunshade. This is the other concept of on parts of the building where it's more of a vertical fin, metal fin. You can see out from 3 feet out from the wall. So here on all the windows, we have a low awning and a high awning to get some cross ventilation. Here you can see more of the wall sections. Rain screen detail, metal panels, again, high and low cross ventilation. Here's kind of a view of a typical room. And again, you can see here where the high and low windows allow the cross ventilation. So exterior wall through the classroom, high window above this. This space could be used for books, shelving, desks, but allows the airflow to the top part of the space. All right, just some econometric views of the building. Again, this is the western, so lots of shading in and out, overhangs, roof, decks. Here you can see the vertical. These are the horizontal. Some more views. So this is kind of the entry view here. Big covered overhang entry. You can see on this two sides is the vertical fins for the solar shading. This is kind of another side entrance, public entrance, where you can see the two or the different horizontal shading. Another entry where you can see the vertical. Probably for this one, this site, again, all this is west facing, so it's very important to get solar shading devices, the vertical, horizontal, the natural ventilation through the space. Cool roof materials up on top, green roofs over on some of the lower roofs here, high performance glazing, exterior wall insulation with the rain screen, and a high performance building envelope. Active system, mainly worried about cooling. So we've got the DOAS system up top providing cooling, some heating if necessary, solar panels on top of the roof, and some other active systems. That's the presentation. Thanks.